That's a great answer. So I just want to segue very quickly into, you said you're a person that sort of walks in both worlds. From a personal perspective, one of the things I want to talk to you and that I'm interested to talk to you about is your super impressive run of WNBF shows this year. For those that don't know, you did multiple shows back to back to back to back with the goal of achieving pro status in the WNBF. So why the WNBF? Talk to us about the prep, how far out you started. Did you do any direct cardio work? Were you just keeping track of steps? Talk to us about your diet breaks, your refeeds, peaking strategies, and what was it like doing that many shows back to back?
Yeah, man. So why the WNBF? It's because I feel that, every federation is a little different. And ultimately, the natural bodybuilding community is bigger than any federation. But the federation where I choose to compete, where I think it has the most pros and the least cons, is the World Natural Bodybuilding Federation. And it has, I think, the most international affiliates, and it has a legitimate world championship that's coming up in Seattle. This is the 34th year they've had world championships. And the reason why I like the WNBF is because they are very serious about providing a level playing field and a good competitive experience. And it's a highly competitive organization. So I mentioned that I kind of won my PNBA pro qualification in a relatively small show. You simply can't do that in the WNBF. Each international affiliate's a little different, but in the States, for example, there needs to be at least 8 in the open division. And if you win the overall in an open division of at least 8, you can get pro status. There's also sometimes what's called super pro qualifiers in the States, where if there's 8 in a class, you can get your pro card. So Worlds will be like that, for example. I've done a couple shows that are super pro qualifiers. With the international affiliates, it is a little different. It's based upon how big the show is, how long the federation's been around. And the reason why, again, I want to compete at the WNBF is because of that caliber of competition,
Right.
but also because to get on stage, every single athlete has to take a polygraph for 10-year drug-free status. And you sit there, you read through the banned substance list, and then you have a polygrapher who gives you 20-minute to an hour long, depending on how many times I got to run you through it, polygraph to assess whether you can step on stage. And then once you step on stage, if you do get your pro card as an amateur, then you're urine tested. And that pro status is held until you actually pass your urine test. And then in the pros, same thing. Everyone who wants to get on stage, polygraphed. And then if you win money, same thing. So that kind of commitment to testing, I mean, it does cost more money. Like you got to drop 130 NZ just to pay the polygraph on top of your entry fee and hotel and pictures and everything. It's cheaper than drugs though, kids. So
Stay off the drugs.
that's right. Say no to drugs. Me and Nancy Reagan, we're going to do a tour. But no, in all seriousness, like I have no disrespect towards people who take the enhanced route. I just know for me, because of my philosophy behind it and what I get from bodybuilding and my connection, I want to go the drug-free route. And I'm really pleased that there is a viable route for drug-free athletes. And I think the most level playing field with the highest competitive level is the WNBF. So that's why. And I've had a dream ever since the beginning to compete in the WNBF. I'm going to show my age here, but before the internet, before social media, there was a magazine that the INBF owned called Natural Bodybuilding and Fitness Magazine. And the way you'd find out information and also see who won shows was in magazines. You had Flex Magazine, I'm talking 2005. I'm at Borders or Barnes & Nobles in the States, our biggest booksellers. There's Flex Magazine, Ronnie Coleman's on the cover, just won the 05 Olympia, awesome. Just 2 spots over, Natural Bodybuilding and Fitness Magazine, and you got Jim Cordova or Brian Whitaker or Clarence McGill, someone, and if you know who those guys are. Sean Clarita, actually, the current 212, or actually a multiple-time 212 Mr. Olympia champion.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you should know him. He was actually the lightweight world champion multiple times and battled out for the overall. Kai Green, I don't know if you heard of that guy, second place in the Olympia, maybe an uncrowned Mr. Olympia. He actually, as a teenager, won pro shows in the WNBF, just to kind of show you the caliber. So I remember seeing these guys on the cover of Natural Bodybuilding and Fitness Magazine, and they have all the results in the back. You can still find some magazines from 2009, and you can see me winning some amateur weight classes. Not quite the pro card back then, but the magazine era died away, but that connection I had never went away, and I always wanted to become a WNBF pro. So I've competed so many times at the WNBF. I had a run at a lot of their shows in 2009, as well as 2019, and I have been the bridesmaid so many times. I've placed second or first and then lost in the overall, I think maybe 6 times.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I got into 2 overalls in 09. Jeff Alberts was also in those, so that wasn't my day. I got second place to the overall winner in 09 in the very last show I did. And then in 2019, I placed second in the first show I did. I won the next show I did, but it was too small, didn't have 8 to give a pro card in the INBF. And then I placed second in the third show I did in 2019.